Hello, good morning to you wherever it is you are watching beautiful, outstanding ladies with disabilities TV, Bold TV, brought to you by Bold Heart Initiative. And the beautiful ladies are either ready to begin the conversation around issues as it affects and concerns women and girls with disabilities today, Saturday, 15th of October, 2022. It's the International White Cane and Safety Day for blind and visually impaired persons across the world, and we wish them all a happy celebration. And we will be celebrating the resilience, the strength, and independence of blind and visually impaired persons today on the show. Watch out for that one, it will be coming up very quickly. But before then, let me thank our listeners, our viewers, for their staying all the time, for always being there. We want to appreciate you and want to continue to urge you to be a part of this program. If you would like to support us in any way or form, please reach out to any of the co-hosts, Abiose, Afyong, Freki, or Saki, or myself, to Missing, and we would gladly have you join us on the show. Today, like I said, we have so much to talk about. Another informative, educative, and entertaining time on Bold TV. Very quickly, let the ladies introduce themselves.
So my name is Oluwakemi Odusoya. I'm a blind lady. I'm a Nigerian, but currently based in India. So right now in India, I'm doing a 1-year professional leadership course. So that's why I'm currently in India. But hey, I'm still in Nigeria, coming back.
Everybody, I'm Osaki Teresa George. I reside in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. Work with Fair Care Foundation, member of Bold Heart Initiative, Polio Warrior. I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Good morning. How are we today? My name is Abiose Funke Falade. I am the Executive Director, Angel Wings Global Freedom Foundation. I am an author of an awesome book for young children with disabilities and those without disability, Nimi the Warrior Girls, Chronicles of the Undesirable. I'm also an entrepreneur. Nice to be here. I live in Ibadan and I use a wheelchair. Nice to be here.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Freki Andrew Essien. I'm based in Port Harcourt in Rivers State. I use a wheelchair from spinal cord injury. I'm the Executive Director of Fair Care Foundation, a member of Bold Hearts Initiative, and I'm a public health professional. Thank you and God bless. Also a consultant, non-profit leadership management consultant, and an inclusion strategist consultant. Thank you very much.
All right, let me also quickly do the same like the ladies. I am Oluwatomisin Adeyefa. I'm a broadcast journalist, a sound engineer, a gender and disability rights advocate, founder Access TV, and I also work with Angel Wings Global Freedom Foundation. I'm also a campaigner of sexual and reproductive health for women and girls with disabilities, based in Abeokuta, Ogun State, Southwest Nigeria, and I am a visually impaired person. Welcome once again to the show. It promises to be yet another educating, informating, and entertaining time on Bold TV today, as always. Our topic, the white cane, a symbol of mobility, identity, and independence for blind and visually impaired persons. Once again, we wish all the blind and visually impaired persons out there a wonderful celebration as they celebrate the white cane. Very quickly, before I turn you over to the ladies to begin asking their questions, while myself, Oluwatomisin Adeyefa, and our guest appearance, Oluwakemi Odusoya, provide answers to those questions, let me give a brief background history of the white cane. Cane over the centuries have been used by blind and visually impaired persons to navigate their immediate and extended environment. And not until after the World War I, the white cane didn't get so much popularity. However, in 1921, a photographer by the name James Beats from Bristol, England, who lost his sight after an accident, got frustrated about the traffic around his home, the hustling and bustling of people, honking of cars indiscriminately, and then he decided to paint his cane white for easy identification and mobility. Then, in 1930, the president of the Illinois Lions Club, George A. Obram, decided to add the red strap to the white cane for further visibility for pedestrians and sighted persons, motorists around a blind or visually impaired person. And today, the United Nations, as part of its effort to celebrate the strength, sensitize the public, advocate for the use of the white cane, and also celebrate the users of the white cane, blind and visually impaired persons, set aside 15th of October every year for the International White Cane and Safety Day.
Good morning, everyone. Our first question goes to you, Tomisin. As we're talking about White Cane Day, I'd like to ask you, as a visually impaired person, what does the white cane mean to you? What is its significance to you?
Okay, thank you very much, Afion, for that question. The white cane means to me independence. It means that as a blind person, even without my sight, my sense of sight, I can freely, on my own, navigate my environment. It means that I do not have to inhibit myself to certain ways, certain paths, certain motions, certain movements. I can explore avenues to get things done. Regardless of how bad my disability or my disability as a visually impaired person is. So the white cane for me symbolizes independence, like I said.
Okay, thank you very much, Tomisin. I'd like to pass that question to you, Oluwakemi.
Yes, so for me, white cane to me as a blind user simply means self-integration, because one, it makes me understand the fact that without the sight, I can still do every other thing as I could do with my sight. It could just be a little barrier, but when I have a white cane with me, it shows me a sense of integration that I have to, move or include myself in a particular motion, which has to do with the navigation, the movement, and it also gives me confidence. So as a blind person, the white cane is like it's self-integration, confidence, and strength for me.
All right. So Tomisin said independence, the ability to access anywhere with the white cane. Kemi says it's for her, it's integration, the ability to do almost anything and not be hindered or hampered by the fact that she can't see.
All right, thank you, Afion, for those questions. And thank you, Tomisin and Kemi, for telling us what the white cane means to you. I think my question, let me start with Tomisin. When we say visually impaired person, who is a visually impaired person, and what is the importance of a white cane generally now to visually impaired persons? Because we know that not all visually impaired persons use a white cane. So what is that attached importance, and really who is a visually impaired person? Tomisin, I'll throw that question to you. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Frankie, for that one. First, who is a blind or visually impaired person? There's a slight difference between blindness and visual impairment. So according to the dictionary, blindness is a complete loss of the sense of sight. So it means that the person cannot see, light cannot penetrate to enhance the person's vision. So that's a complete loss of sight. However, a visually impaired person, they are into so many categories. These are defects, eye defects. You have the myopia, hypermetropia, myopia. You have night blindness. You have color blindness. You have river blindness. Some people cannot see in the morning or in the sun. Those are forms of visual impairment. Those are defects to the eye. Now, the importance of this white cane to either a blind or a visually impaired person is to enhance their navigation around, especially in traffic or around their immediate or extended environment. So we have different kinds of the white cane. You have the one that are specifically for totally blind people, people who are blind. So, for instance, that's the purely white one you see that has no red straps. According to the United Nations, when you have just a white cane, it means that that person cannot see at all. But when the person has a white cane with red straps, it means that the person has some level of vision, but still need assistance or guide to be able to navigate their environment. So the first importance is mobility. It helps you move around without bumping into people or people bumping into you. Imagine a Lagos, for instance, where, you know, even people without eye defect, they bump into each other. So you know, imagine a visually impaired person trying to navigate through Lagos without a cane or without the sensitization that a white cane is synonymous to a blind person. How difficult that's going to be. It means that the person would have to, you know, keep bumping, people will bump into him or her, and this would cause more damage to the person physically and emotionally. So the first importance, the first reason why a blind or visually impaired person needs a white cane is for mobility and as well for identity. So you see a white, some of us do not know how to use it to walk, it's fine. But immediately you are seen with it, it's easy for people to identify that, oh, this person is a blind person, this person is a visually impaired and probably needs help. And, you know, walk up to you to say, oh, how do I help you? Because they've seen something with you. And so it's also a form of identity that people around you can easily spot you on. Cars, moving vehicles, pedestrians, hawkers, everybody can easily signify and point you out that important that I can talk about now. Let me rest there.
All right, thank you, Tomisin. So you talked about mobility and the importance of the awareness of the white cane for others. So let me just quickly, because a part 2 question, and you've mentioned some. So Kemi, if you're still there, what are the importance, or you can say one or two, of a white cane to not just now the visually impaired person, but to society. Why does society need to know about the white cane?
All right, so in between you might get like an ambience of the jog around. So basically for me, the importance of the white cane is belonging. For the blind and visually impaired person, it makes them, it gives a sense of belonging. You would not be of help to you, and also gives a sense of assimilation and association. So if the society is well knowledgeable about the white cane, so whoever they see using the white cane or holds the white cane, definitely they understand that this person cannot see or has a little, the major thing that comes to their mind is the person cannot see and would need help. So that gives like an education and enlightenment to the society that this person may need help. So the white cane would, as much as it serves as a sense of belonging for the blind person, belonging for the blind person, for the society as well.
So Kemi has said that for her, that the importance of the white cane to the visually impaired person is for belonging. So it's like an identity. And then to the society, with the raised awareness, it will be known that if you see a person who has a pure white cane, you know that person is completely blind, and you can ask to offer assistance. I really wanted to put it down there that not immediately you see somebody, you now go and grab the person and the person now fall, another you fall. You ask to know if the person needs assistance and you can provide the assistance. I also like the education and awareness rate here that to let us know that the other type of white cane that has the red shows that or indicates that the person has some form of sighting. So it's good to know the difference. It's a good lesson to learn. All right, so I turn the questions over to the next lady.
All right, well done. Still on white cane discussion. Tommy, what's your view of Nigerians' perspective of the use of a white cane by blind and visually impaired person?
The perspective of Nigeria, I would say it's an evolving one. We are not where we are expected to be, but we are simply not where we used to be when we now see a white cane. I mean, so many organizations of and for persons with visual impairment have been, doing this sensitization thing. And so it's making us more aware that people who use the white cane are not beggars. People who use the white cane are not people you run away from because, you don't want to touch them and all of that. I've had so many experiences, where when Frecky was talking about dragging the other time, people do that a lot. Really, they see you with the white cane, and probably you are very close to a ditch. It's possible that you're not even close to a ditch. They just grab you, and then you are very scared, and you're like, what's going on here? And then they, it comes up with, I was just trying to help, So it's a whole lot of involvement that we still need to do as Nigerians, to know that, yes, when someone is with the white cane, you don't have to see that person as somebody you cannot move close to. Some people will tell you that visually impaired persons are very aggressive, that if you move closer to them too much, they can use the white cane to hit you. And because of that, they stand very afar and then they talk to you, and then so it's a whole lot of, misconceptions about the white cane. Some persons will see you with the white cane, maybe you are waiting for the bus or something. Instead, they'll offer you 20 naira, 15 naira, because they do not understand that you are not just there to beg for alms. Probably you need to just get to the other side of the road or get some means of transportation. And some, even when it comes to these people who deal in the transportation business, they see you with the white cane and they just assume that when you get into their bus or their vehicle, you are not going to pay. Or you become a burden on them, or, they will now need to take you to where you are going, or probably take you into your room and all of that. So a lot of assumptions, a lot of misconceptions, but with continuous awareness, because issues of disabilities is not something you talk about once and then you keep mute about it. It's a continuous effort that we all must continue to do. We must strive to do, just like we are doing right now on Bold TV, talking about these things to say that yes, our perspective towards visually impaired persons needs to change. Blindness is not contagious. If you touch a blind person, you hold them by their hands, their wrists, it doesn't mean that you would also get blind when you get home. And so I'm sure that with all of these efforts put together consistently, we will have a better perspective of the white cane.
Can you share an experience you've had using the white cane when you go out, and one of you had when you didn't use your white cane while going out? An experience of using your white cane when going out and one of not using it when going out.
Yes. Okay, so I'll start with the one of not using it. When I initially, just got blind, we call it fresh recruit, and it just didn't resonate with me holding a cane when I'm going out. I feel that it makes everybody know that I am blind and cannot see. And because back then people would tell me my eyeballs do not look like someone that is blind. My eyes can still focus when I'm having a conversation with somebody. I can still look directly at the person. And so in my mind, I'm like, okay, we can rugged this thing now. And so instead of going out with your white cane, basically because I do not want to be stigmatized and I do not want people to look at me and just give me the pity look and all of that, I discovered that falling was like a hobby back then. It became an everyday thing that just hits my head, and I'm a tall person. You can imagine when somebody like me, as tall as I am, falls down. Yoruba will say, "Loge degbe," as tall, head, leg, shoulder, everything. It was easy for me, and then people would not be saying, "Are you blind? Can't you see?" It was easy to bump into people, and people would say, "Are you blind? Can't you?" And then I have to explain to myself that I cannot see. Now, some people who do not even know that it is called a white cane will say, why can't you hold your walking stick? That was back in Lagos. Where's your walking stick? Where's your walking stick and all of that? Why can't you hold a stick or go along with someone and all of that? So, falling was like, and I mean, I readily did not have somebody that would be going out with me. And so it restricted my going out. It restricted my involvement in activities because, I mean, I'll be scared to go out with the cane. I'll be scared to go out without the cane. And so it went on like that for a long time before I decided within myself that this is a form of identity. I mean, this will make it easy. So, for instance, if I'm with my cane and then you bump into me, I'm the one that will ask you that question first. That can't you? Because I assume that I am with a cane, you should identify that I'm a blind person. And so do not bump into me. And that was one experience. Another experience I have that I would like to share using the white cane is there was this time I was having this course at Shita, somewhere in Surulere, also in Lagos. And, I stood there. I was at that spot for a very long time. My white cane was in my hand. I didn't unfold it. It was just there in my hand. And so people were just passing me by. Vehicles were passing, or car riders were passing. Nobody was even caring to see what was wrong. But immediately I remember that I have a cane now, and then I stretched it because it was a collapsible cane. And then I stretched it and I stood. In less than a minute, about 3 persons approached me that, lady, where are you going? Do you want a bike? Do you want? So it made me realize at that point in time that I was just holding it. People were, probably were thinking I was just holding a baton or something not of importance. People were just passing me by. And I'm sure a lot of people would have been looking like, what's this lady doing? And she's standing. But immediately I, uncollapsed the cane and I stood with it. It made it easy for me to get help that particular day. And I was able to, make my appointment almost in good time. Because I mean, I stood there for a very long time.
Wow. Imagine, so you held yourself, you didn't know you were hindering yourself from getting there. All right, so thank you, Thomason. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so take advantage, use what is available to get, the help you need. Kemi, do you want to share?
Yeah, so for me, experiences I've had is the fact that, when they're going on the walkway and someone will say, oh, is he not talking to you? And I'm like, sorry, this is just a white cane. It only guides me to indicate if there is something before me, something beside me, or if there is a ditch. Not that it's speaking. It happened of recent, and when my colleague was like, oh, but that white cane, it speaks. It's talking to you. I said no. Like I was actually very surprised because this person is like educated, and I felt wow, like really. So in that instance, it makes me understand that as the world evolves, as we have a number of deaths, we have a number of births, and since Nigeria or the society is not born accessible, we need to keep educating and orienting every individual, organization, and even the society on the use of or on the importance of the white cane or even disability in general. So in that aspect, then when going out, I don't think, number one, for me, I don't even feel comfortable going out without my white cane. So I can't really say if I had experience moving out with the white cane, because for me, I feel with the white cane, it gives me, like I said, sense of belonging. It gives me the right. It gives me the courage and the confidence to ask for help. Or if anything happens, they can always associate that, oh, this person is actually not our fault. You saw this white cane with her, and if there is an accident or if there is anything, the person, it's really definitely not involved in a crime incident, but it gives me number one exhibit to say no. I was gradually standing and all that, but so for me, I don't even go out without the white cane. So I can't say I really have bad experience of using the white cane. Yep.
So back to, from what Kemi has said, the cane, back to the sense of identity. for her, it is like, Superman's cape or outfit, what she's identified with. And nobody can say, oh, I don't know that this person is blind. So that's it's very important. And thank you for sharing your experience. And maybe that person that said your cane speaks to you, probably the person is seeing the future where AI or technology will make it possible that maybe something is programmed into the cane and it's able to, like a computer, a sort of computer that, you can have a conversation with. But let's wait and see. All right. Just over to you.
Thank you very much, Afyong. So this question is for both Tomisin and Kemi. I would like you to tell us what are the challenges you encounter while using a white cane. So I know there are a lot of challenges, so I'd like you to just keep them simple and short, maybe three examples of challenges that you have. Thank you. So this question is for both Tomisi and Kemi.
Okay, since Kemi spoke last, let me take it up. One major challenge is the level of discrimination we have in our society. I mentioned earlier of how some people, instead of moving close to you, politely asking if you need help and all of that, would prefer to drag you by your cane. Even when they ask you if you need help, they don't want to touch you. They want to touch the cane. And when you are trying to say, hold me, not my cane, like I am the owner of the cane. You shouldn't be held by anyone else in walking me around. They are very confused in touching you. The confusion is written all over them. They go silent and probably they are examining your hands to see if you have leprosy or something. I don't understand. Another challenge we have as visually impaired persons using the white cane is the cost of either getting a new one or repairing an old one, and the availability of these white canes or guide canes, as we prefer to call it. So you find out that these are imported items. These are items that a lot of organizations, a lot of shops where they sell them pay import duties, and so it's quite expensive. It's coming at a subsidized rate from the Western country where it is being manufactured. But when it gets here, it becomes highly expensive for a lot of our people to be able to afford. And so you see that these days people are now trying to use wood to make it, to carve it. You see a lot of canes and then you're looking like, which one is this one again? So people are really looking for avenues to make it available. But is that the basis of or what it should serve? Would it serve the same purpose of one which is made under standard procedures or standard issuance and then being sent to us and we sell at very exorbitant prices? Now there's a cord-like thread, in the cane. Now this often would break or get cut off and all of that, then the cane becomes useless. You can't readily get it repaired around your environment, especially if you do not live close to where you have organizations or you have persons who probably know about it. For instance, if you live in a place where I live here in Abeokuta and your cane has such an issue, you have to send it to Lagos for it to be repaired and all of that. It means that you are going to send cost of transportation, you are going to send the cost of repair. And imagine if I'm somewhere maybe in Bayelsa and I have to send it, or I'm somewhere in Yobe or Zamfara and I need to repair my cane and I need to still send it to Lagos or Abuja for repair. So the readily availability of these items, even when you want to buy, it was recently, I think it was when I was trying to conduct some research for this program, that I discovered that, okay, some of these online shops sell them. Like the very popular one with the J that we know. I've seen it there. Was it J? No, the one with the K. Yes, I didn't see it on the one with the J, but I saw it on the one with the K. And it was still very expensive when you now consider the cost of shipping and all of that, or the cost of delivery and all of that. It means that so much still needs to be done to make sure that the challenges of using a white cane for blind and visually impaired persons in Nigeria are brought to the minimum.
So on my own aspect, The challenge I could see is the misconception about the white cane. Like Tomisin said, when the society or people around you think that the white cane speaks, right? Which is at least, let's say, something we are hopeful for. Then number two, the fact that even a blind person or a visually impaired person do not know how to use the white cane. It's also a challenge. So Yoruba will say like in the sense that so people have this belief, first impression counts. When they have an interaction with one person that do not know how to use it, it spreads faster than even the right information. So the right information on the usage of the white cane is also a challenge. Another thing is the fact that there is no incentive when it comes to custom duty importation of the white cane. And white cane comes from different part of the country. The question is, does Nigeria have a production house or a firm that produces white cane which can be subsidized for persons who want to use it? So that's also another challenge in the aspect of the person who would buy it. The person would buy it at a double the price or triple the price, and it makes people to go for lesser quality or even want to make. Why would I have to go for a white cane that might cost me 20,000 when I can easily carve a wood and paint it or something? So it's what they call improvisation, because all fingers are not equal. So I believe that if the government can look into this, or whichever department that is responsible could also look into this in terms of importation, and also aviation as well. A blind person will want to travel, and I think I've been to one, I can't remember the airline now, and they would want to collect your white cane from you, putting it up. I understand that safety is important, but hey, if a blind person wants to go to the laboratory and finds it very difficult, at times you might even want to press the button. I hope you don't even press the wrong button to call the air hostess. So there are a lot of things that need to be guided, as much as we want to be very security conscious. But hey, the question is, are you also asking the right person? Are you asking the user of the comfortability and the comfortability of what you're trying to do? You don't do things outside the box. You do things within the box that would put everyone, like the CSTG says, leave no one behind. So as much as you are being very careful, you also need to put the user also into consideration. And so I believe these challenges can also be mitigated if the right authorities, if the right persons meet the right people, the blind people. Don't make laws, don't import, don't presume that these blind people should, or you feel that, blind people, they have money. Hey, like I said, not all fingers are equal. So you need to ask the blind persons themselves the right question so that you can get the right policies or laws made when it comes to white cane. It's very much important. As much as we are all crying safety, productivity, resilience, confidence, and all of that, hey, it's very important we meet those blind people as well.
Thank you very much for that. And so we have all heard what the challenges are for people using the white cane, and how discrimination is taking over, and how people take away the white cane when they need it the best, when in the air, when they need to use the laboratory, in anywhere that they need to use it, but it's taken away for safety reasons. Yes, thank you very much, ladies, for giving us those answers to the question. Over to you, Frecky.
Thank you to Beyonce. Thank you, Tomisin, and thank you, Kemi, for also going on to speak to some of the solutions. So I'll ask Osaki to go ahead and ask the last question.
Okay, thank you, Frecky. So back to Tomisin, still on using a white cane. I will ask you, how do you suggest we deal with the challenges, Tomisin?
Thank you very much, Osaki. I think one way that we can, conquer some of these challenges facing white cane users, the white cane, and the society is making inclusive policies. A lot of countries are coming up with laws guiding and protecting cane users. we do not have such here in Nigeria. So for instance, if a cane user it's just like when we have zebra crossing, for instance, when people are on the zebra crossing, they want to cross, and it is only ideal for any car, any bike, any napep, any oncoming vehicle to stop and allow people use the zebra crosses. So also is the use of a white cane. We should have places where when a blind person gets to and stops, vehicles will be able to take a pause and allow you move freely. It also goes on to talk about sensitization amongst traffic personnel. It's so sad that sometimes police officer, traffic warden, a lot of these state and federal traffic operatives will see you as a blind person holding the white cane, and they'll still be looking. So it means that a lot of sensitization, a lot of orientation needs to go on there that, once you see somebody using a white cane, help the person navigate through that particular traffic, because you are a person of authority. And so even when the motorists want to be very lackadaisical, because you are there, it makes movement, it makes navigation, it makes mobility easier for such a person. So I think a lot of awareness, a lot of sensitization needs to go on there as we begin to consider having policies to protect and guide cane users.
All right, thank you very much for that intelligent solution when it comes to use of the white cane.
All right, so in wrapping this up, I would like to ask one last question, and that is part of the awareness raising. We've talked about the challenges, and I've heard a lot when it comes to what the government can do to ensure that they have inclusive policies. So what I'm going to ask the ladies, I'm going to start with Kemi. Tell us 2 no-nos and 2 yes when it comes to the white cane. So I repeat, 2 no-nos and 2 yes.
No first is that a sighted person, anybody assisting a blind person, should not collect the white cane and hold the blind person comfortably, thinking that he or she will be faster to help if you collect the white cane. Number 2 is not for you to hold the white cane like in a vertical position while the blind person goes behind you, thinking that because since you are the one leading, you should go in front and the blind person comes behind you. It also brings down the confidence rate of the blind person. Then for the yes to do is a blind user, especially the women and girls who cannot see, should be confident using a white cane. It does not reduce your beauty, because I've had a lot of persons, women with blindness, saying that, if I use a white cane, it will reduce my beauty. So it does not reduce your beauty or your equality, right? And number 2 is that the white cane is a symbol of productivity, a symbol of safety, and it should be handled with respect. You can always clean your white cane, bath with it, eat your baby, especially during the era of COVID, I recall. So whatever you can do to your cane guide or someone that can help you, also do it to your white cane by bathing for it, showering for it, and all of that.
The more she said it, the more she laughs. Thank you, Kemi. Don't miss him. Over to you.
Thank you. So, number 1, no is that as a blind or visually impaired person, when you are out there, do not fold your white cane. Don't leave it in a folded position. Ensure that you uncollapse it so that people can easily see you and easily identify that you are a blind person. Another no with the white cane for me is that when you want to offer assistance to a white cane user, do not drag them abruptly. Do not drag them abruptly. It kind of makes the visually impaired person unbalanced. And in the end, you can, just make them hit their head, hit their leg, or fall, because it depends on how the person's stamina, how steady the person is at the time you did the dragging. So that's a no for me. Do not drag them abruptly and pull them, or attempt to forcefully push them off the road or something. That's a no-no. Then a yes is that you can present a white cane to a blind person. It's a yes. You can, part of your charity works, part of what your organization does, part of what your institution does. You can enable a blind person become independent. It's a yes. It's welcome. Apart from, instead of giving arms, why not enable their independence? Why not enable their mobility? Instead of, 5 naira, 20 naira, 50 naira. I'm not saying you cannot give financial assistance to a white cane user, but you can invest, because we've talked about how expensive these items are. You can try to cushion the effect from the angle of your corporate social responsibility. Another yes with the white cane is that the white cane improves your accessibility into places. So do not be afraid to use it in places that matters. You want to climb a staircase, do not assume as a blind person that I do not need my white cane to climb the staircase. You never can tell what is in front, what is behind, what is beside. So do a proper learning of how to use the white cane. There is a method, there's a technique. So yes, learn how to use the white cane if you are a white cane user. Thank you.
Amazing no-nos and yes. So I hope we've learned a lot. I'm going to turn the wrap up of this to the host for today, which is actually Oluwatomisin, and she will go ahead.
All right, and that's our package on today's edition of Beautiful Outstanding Ladies with Disabilities TV, Bold TV, brought to you by Bold Hearts Initiative. Thank you, ladies, for fielding in those positions, asking questions as regards the white cane being a symbol of mobility, identity, and independence. Thank you to all our viewers, our listeners out there across the world. We want to appreciate you, and we want to pray for your indulgence as you continue to support us right here on Bold TV. For questions, comments, submissions, or you would like to support the program in any way or form, kindly reach out to any of the co-hosts, Abiose, Afeong, Osaki, Oluwatomisin, and Freki. Thank you goes to our special guest appearance as well, Oluwakemi Odusoya, all the way from India. Thank you, sis, for coming on the show. We want to say namaste. I hope I got that right. Okay. We hope we would call on you next time and you would oblige us. Thank you so much. Till we come your way again next week, same time, 10:30 a.m. on YouTube and on Facebook. Bold TV is the name of the channel. We want you to stay happy and remain positive. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Look at this fine girl telling me her hair.